Happy Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. Pen score, Colin. Pens are like a box of chocolate. Your hands get messy. All right. Welcome. Happy July. We made it. I'm looking at a pen here and I realize there's tape on it. Okay. I don't know why there was tape on that pen. Anyway, here we are. We're almost, for me, we're almost to the end of the week. Because tomorrow is kind of the end of the week for me. Friday is kind of a whatever, and Saturday is even less of a whatever. So today we're going to work on some Esterbrook's. The tray that we started to disassemble yesterday but didn't really do much with. I've got some pastels I want to kind of work on. You made a cool deal on 10 vintage Japanese Urushi eyedroppers? Yeah. Congratulations. Super fun. Super fun. So, it's always fun to get a nice group. So, anyway, what was I going to say? I don't remember what I was going to say. Let's see. Clairefontaine products on the website are up if anybody is interested. A lot of A5 and smaller, some really cool wire bound, top wire bound, smaller sizes for y'all. We mentioned yesterday, finally got them up on the site today. And don't forget, Friday will be pre-sales on the Horseyear, Twisby Horseyear Eco. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, I don't have much. We can get to repairing some pens, and then I'm out of here at 5. There we go. There's Russell. Let's take a look. Here's where we left off yesterday. There was a piece of tape all day yesterday. We're working on this pen. Not all day, but there was a piece of tape on here. I don't know why. I didn't really look at these. I really probably should. Oh, excuse me. I had to kick the cats out of the bedroom last night because they were being naughty at about 2 a.m. There we go. All right. Okay, let's start ripping into these because I got, well, what the heck did I do with? But now I am, well, there it is. I was just say I'm missing my hemostat. Pull out those G-bars. Hmm. This sack is just pliable enough to be a pain in the butt trying to get off. I haven't done any work on Esterbrook's in a while. At least not in this quantity. Thankfully, they're all coming off. This one's original. So, you know, we'll keep that one. Pull these. Well, the morning sure went fast. I don't know where the heck it went. We pulled into the parking lot today just in nick of time. And within 2 or 3 minutes, the sky went black. And it started pouring rain. And now it has cooled off to a balmy 85 degrees. All right, so those two don't have J-bars. Little red transitional. This nib is destroyed. All right, so we got those recorded. We can just a little bit of just something in there. Nibs in the ultrasonic. The only one I got to worry about is this one. So I'm going to tape that. That's a transitional. I better tape that too. And the only reason I'm marking that is so I know it goes with which pen it goes with. That distills down to that now, doesn't it? Clean these guys up. Had a brief and slightly insane conversation with Lisa at lunch today. About potentially visiting one of my consigners. Problem being, they live something like 33 hours away. It's like, yeah, we'll just drive there. We thought about it this weekend, but there's a strong possibility we're not going to make it back in time for Monday. Or it's going to be a... All right, you'll step back there. All right, sounds good. You know, it's like, I'm not, 20 years ago, we did the... Maybe it wasn't 20, it was at least 10. Maybe 10 or 12, maybe longer ago. We did the drive down to Dallas, buy a collection, turn around, and come back. But 33 hours is a long, long way. So we might do it on Labor Day weekend. We'll see. I'm going to let her sleep on that decision. And then, of course, the consignor would have to, you know, be available and be interested in that. But it's a long, long way. All right, so those are mostly good. We do have a pen to test today, too. Almost forgot. You. Let's see if I can do this. Let that barrel soak. Oh, damn it. See that? How many Esterbrook's have I done? Really? How many? Like thousands. Why do I always forget that's in there? All right. Clean off these threads. What is that? A cat with sunglasses? What is that? That looks like my cat. He was not being a good boy last night. Yeah. Tossed his lunch. Then what he does is he starts chewing on stuff. All cats need sunglasses today. So I kicked him out of the bedroom. And it's always the best sleep when he's not there. "95 sunny, very humid, makes your hair frizz, and you're bald." Yeah, get real. I want to. They're both like my cat. Big orange guy. Yeah, so I was at it's at my hairdresser's last night, and I always go with Lisa. And so Lisa starts first, and then she does her thing, and then there's a little break where otherwise normally they would just sit there and chat. But while Lisa's waiting for her hair to do whatever it's got to do, then she cuts my hair, and and she's talking, and mostly she's talking to Lisa. "Hey, Gary," and all of a sudden she goes, "Well, how do you like your bangs?" She can't possibly be talking to me. I mean, I got this. And apparently she was talking to me like I didn't answer her. So, like what? Are you kidding? I'm practically bald. Yours lets you sleep during the night, but comes in at 5:30 a.m. She makes it known it's time for the food slaves to arrive. Yeah, see, I got an automatic feeder. I know it's not good for all cats, but my cats don't compete for the food bowls, so this drops food out. I think it's every 4 hours or something. I probably shouldn't have it do that. Max is like maybe a few pounds overweight, but that, and I've got an automatic water thing too that Lisa found, which is actually super cool. I think it's every 4 hours. It dumps the water, and it sits up higher on the ground. It dumps the water and then refreshes it. It dumps it into a bin, and then it's got a second bin that it draws clean water from. So, you forgot to ask me yesterday if Lisa took you out for a birthday dinner Monday. Well, we were going to do it, but then I had to go help my future son-in-law with his car. So we ended up going to a Culver's because it was kind of on the way. And if you don't know what a Culver's is, it's kind of a local, Midwestern local kind of joint that sells burgers and ice cream. They make a good French fry and a good ice cream, but this is dipping a little bit, so we gotta. So it didn't kind of work out the way we were kind of planning. She doesn't like dry food. Anything she doesn't like, or if she's done, she starts pretending to bury it like the litter box. Oh, otherwise you consider the automatic feeder. So what you're telling me is they spoiled her at the last place. You have heard of it because your great nephew is apparently a manager at one in Alabama. Okay. Oh, well, that's fine. Where is my head today? I didn't give my cats any choice. This is what you get. If you want to live here, be part of this family, you're going to get what I put on the table. It doesn't really work that way, though. I know it doesn't work that way with cats. Yeah, so I like the Culvers. Well, I don't have it very often. Coincidentally, had it last Monday when I was waiting for Lisa to come home. It was kind of one of those shake and fry kind of dinners, which is not exactly healthy, but it kind of hit the spot. And if you've never tried good French fries and a shake or an ice cream, I highly recommend it. She doesn't seem to want human food, so that's a plus. Ah, that's good. Ours are mostly well behaved. It's just every once in a while they decide they don't want to be. And unfortunately, it's always 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Boy, this is dirty. Get a ballpoint and fine liner set made by Prince in sterling silver. Spent ages trying to find out more about it and determine price. Put it up on eBay and it sold in 40 minutes. Prince. I never heard of it. You were initially very happy, then it turned to, did I sell it too cheap? Well, usually it's not the case. If you've never reconditioned an old Esterbrook, it doesn't look too bad, but how do you remove the cap jewel? It looks like a rivet. Yeah, it is. What you got to do is there's two things you can do. The non-destructive way is to remove the inner cap, which, as you may or may not know, if you try to pull the inner cap with an inner cap puller, breaks about 95% of the time. If you want to bypass that route, you just drill a hole right through the top of the perfectly center of the inner cap. And basically what you do is you drill out the bottom of the jewel. I'll do a little example here in a minute. And it releases a little pressure, and then you can push it out. It's not easy, and you should not do it unless you absolutely have to do it. You have the inner cap out. Well, then you can try to push out the inner cap. Or hang on, just let me put this together here for a second. Do I have one? Hang on, let me get one. So the first thing you have to ascertain is the cap, before you start any of this, is the cap jewel friction fit or is it threaded? Because if it's threaded, it's usually super easy. The problem is oftentimes you'll find even the threaded ones are glued in. Which is worse, the worst case scenario. But this is an aftermarket. Let me see if I get a different one. Yeah, this is about more like it. It looks like a little mushroom. Okay. So what I used to do, what makes it easier, so this sits inside. I have one in here. Inside the rivet. I don't see one. Sits inside the rivet. So what I used to do is you can kind of drill out the back of this a little bit. It releases a little pressure on it. Then it makes it easier to push it out. Then it comes out. Then you're left with the rivet, which is typically loose, or it can be loose. Sorry, I'm looking through my bin here to see if I've got an example. Wow, I just pulled out three transitional clips. That just like never happened. So there's your clip. This one's bent to all. Yeah, I haven't. That's actually a transitional clip too. There we go. This looks better. So the rivet, which this is the bottom end, but you can see the rivet there, goes in here. And it's pressed together on the inside end of the barrel. This is the barrel end. And that's what keeps the clip on. And then this just sits in there. This is the wrong size, but this just sits in there to kind of cover that up. It's decoration. The hardest part is tightening the clip, because you have to tighten the rivet, which doesn't always work so well, no matter how you try it. I've never had a really good method work. I created a overly complicated piece of machinery to press the rivet back into place, and it doesn't quite work right. So, well, what's in here? There's some cool stuff in here. Look at that. Bet you don't have one of those. Hard rubber V-clip cap. There's a nice V-clip cap, full size. A lot of those stupid trades. That's miscellaneous parts. But anyway, that's how that works. But if it's threaded, you usually can just unscrew it. Threaded will be on transitional models with flat barrel ends, like this, or early 1947-ish double jewel models, or early double jewel models, typically ones that don't have the registered trademark symbol, with the round jewels. The threaded ones will be the 3-rib jewels, are usually threaded. Sometimes you just can't get them out, and I think that's because I think they've been glued in over time. I've seen it time and time again. It's the biggest trouble spot of the Esterbrook is that clip, because especially the cap jewel on the J is the only model that uses that size. LJs, SJs, and J barrel jewels are all this size. And SJs and LJ cap jewels are this size. So if you need to swap, you can take a barrel jewel off of any J series pen, and it can be a cap jewel for an SJ or an LJ. But the only place you find the full size jewel is on the full size J, which means you do, you know. There have been some reproductions on the market. I've had them. They're okay. They're very matte, though. They really need to be polished up in order to really look right. Plus, the stem on them is really super long, so you gotta trim it. So it's a lot of work. I suppose one of these days I should just have some made to my specs, and then they would probably work really, really well. But and there are reproduction transitional threaded jewels, and there are reproduction barrel jewels, but I think that one's just really simply not necessary. The amount of barrel jewels out there is astronomical. It's a ridiculous number. I'm smelling these because some of these came from a person who smoked pipe tobacco. They've been airing out for months. 2 months now, for sure. All right, let's see what we got here. Here's your weekly grocery shopping a day early. As they're saying tomorrow and Friday are going to be high 90s. Yeah, we gotta go. It's like 80s even at night here. It's just ridiculous. This doesn't happen until August in Wisconsin. So, Lisa and I are planning a road trip for the weekend. do some antiquing. And we were going to take the vet. Because it'd just be a nice day to get out, do a 1-day thing out and back. And we looked at, I thought, well, that's a great idea. You know, we don't drive it hardly at all. Not as much as we used to. And there's some cool antique shops where we're going to go. And thought, well, that'll be fun. And we looked at the forecast, and there is nothing but rain. Chance of rain every day. Hey, Pen Addict. Party of 86. So that's a party. Coming to watch some Esterbrook's being repaired today. Because I have a party of Esterbrook's is what I got. Dustin, Fuzzy, Aziza, how you doing? Mama, hello, hello. Welcome. What's cooking over with Brad? Olive, how you doing? Hello. Alamal. 222, that used to be the address of the my last real job. Paws and Pens, hello. The 222 building, it was called. It's probably the tallest building in Appleton, which is kind of a sad statement. I mean, we're not a small town, but so nice to see you. I was researching Esterbrook's last night for details on the manifold nibs and thought of you. Ah, the 9460s, 9461s, 9450. Believe it or not, I just watched, I think it was last week. Oh gosh, what was it? AP podcast 60 something. Where we did that stupid ink tasting thing. And you were on, hey, there's my inner cap. So sometimes they come out. This pen's kind of a disaster, I have a feeling. It was something, man. It's really something. I've gone through and I've watched. I'm on like 76 or something, and you know, we had some guest hosts and we had some really cool things. You remember watching Learning Letters? Yeah. It was just funny. It was really one of the funniest. I mean, I can't say it's. Some of them are all pretty funny. Some of them are kind of like, I can't believe I actually have people who watch me, but some of them were just so funny. And that's definitely one of them. I think Lisa had Penman. Lisa tasted Penman Sapphire. I did, I think Aurora Black or Blue. I forget which one it was now. But I can still taste it on my tongue. It's one of those things, you know, you remember like the, like the wooden stick from a popsicle. I mean, you can taste that, right? Visconti turquoise is the best tasting ink I've ever had. Yeah. And you said that, I think. I got to go get a sample off the shelf, I think, and we'll try that. Do not drink the ink. Yeah, it was something. Yeah. No, it was a fun podcast. It was a fun podcast. But yeah, we had some guests I forgot we had. We had Ben Mayhorder on. Before the Ohio show. Oh, great. Now I don't know which one is which. My mark came off. Oh, this one is. So it was fun. It was fun. I got to give some of those old videos a little view. Why not, right? Not drink the ink. All right, what do we got here? 2556. Busted. Let's see. What's our list say? Bad. That's number 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. This guy. 2668. That one. And let me tell you, if you have more than one Esterbrook and you're cleaning them at the same time, I highly recommend you do this. In other words, it's just a nightmare trying to match up the sections. Which means this one should be number 3. 2556. Yes. It's the only way to do it. I can't remember. Was that the only, you were only on the podcast once, I think. The learning letters thing was kind of funny because, like, I didn't know about it until, like, apparently after you had done, like, quite a number of them, which really shows either A, how much I don't pay attention, or B, how distanced and removed I was from the whole social media thing at the time. Like, oh, cool. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Why don't we do that? Well, we've been doing that, Brian. Oh, okay. Transparent collar. Orange. Yeah, it does look orange. Orange transparent collar on this. And this has got the imprint that runs lengthwise. Yeah, good memories. Good memories. You know, and that's kind of how you have to look at it, right? There were some pretty cringeworthy things, but then there were some, you know, and there were some, forgive my French, there were some shitty things, but you know what? There were some also really great things. Some great things that happened, and to get here, you had to go through that. It is kind of sad though, because we talk about the people we meet at the show, and you know, and like a lot of them are gone now. You know, well, we saw so and so and so and so, and I bought an Omas, my first Omas from from John. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that. John Corwin. Any all remember him? I never understood. I never understood how one man could have a whole table of Omas. Yeah, it's really sad. Hard to see time move. Yes, it is a little bit. You know, I mean, we talk about Susan Worth, and we talk about, Frankie Tedesco, and any of a number of long-term collectors. Many who have whether the new people know it or not, and most of them don't, have really shaped the hobby the way it is today. But I guarantee there are people out there who don't know that this type of Esterbrook exists, and it's just the Esty and the Niblet and whatever other the junior, I guarantee there are people that go, oh, well, that's not Esterbrook. When they make that? All right, let's see how dirty this is. Well, this has got the inner. This pen is really a disaster. I think I filled up my Q-chip container today. We're gonna do this, and then I think we're gonna switch over to. I want to test out that Incograph that we finished yesterday. Primarily because I don't want to forget about it, and it's sitting on in a tray on its own, and I really want to. It goes against my. Yeah, these are nice and clean now. Let's I just want to test this. This would be such a fun pen to test. We don't have stylographs very often on here, so it's fun to have one. And this is such a weird stylograph too. It looks like it's hard rubber, but it's not. Yeah, that's plastic. Oh, no. I'm thinking of something else. This is hard rubber. I always inspire you to clean your pens well so they don't talk about me when you're gone. Yeah. You can't wait to see the podcast tomorrow. I'm sure you got some fun entries. Yeah, Lisa and I got to pick the winner tonight. We'll do it ahead of time. Usually what I do is I number the entries, and then I just go to like random.org, and that's how I do it. But if I do it ahead of time, then there won't be a rush tomorrow, because Lisa likes to. She gets done with work, walks across, like, the 5 steps across the hall, and then really likes to be. Let's do it and get home and be done. So. Yeah, there were some really great entries. We're trying to discuss what the heck. When I was at Franklin Christoph a few weeks back, they had a really nice thing. They had a big, gosh, I would say it's probably about 3 or 4 foot by maybe 3 foot. Yeah, it's probably like 4 foot by 3 foot cork board. Kind of on the way to the shop. It's kind of in the production area, but on the way to where the machines are. And that's where they put all their positive letters. And it was kind of funny because Scott's like, well, this is where all the positive letters go, and the thank yous, and the nice letters that we get from customers. He says the angry letters and the nasty ones, we just throw those in the garbage, But yeah, there's some, and some really, really great, honestly, we said you don't have to be an artist, but even the ones that were done by people who aren't artists, they were all really nice. And I would just love to be able to put them up somewhere, because it's just, yeah, I know you're doing it because you want to win something. That's the requirement, but you also could have just put a stamp on there. You put some effort into it. I want to at least hang on to it and put it on the wall somewhere. So we can see it when we walk in, and so when people do come in to the shop, they can see all the Cardinal stuff, because I got a little bit. It sort of it's starting to accumulate. So we're probably going to pick we'll pick the winner, and then we'll probably pick, you know, maybe our favorite entry and show that off. This pen took what, a week to open, a week and a half. Almost thought it wasn't going to go back together. Yeah, this is hardware. I was thinking of the pen we had last week. There was the Eclipse. It was the Eclipse. Chased plastic. All right. They don't need that heat gun on any longer than we need it to be on. All right, so if you're not familiar with the stylograph, this is just kind of cool. But this is a independent made by Juco. Stylograph was a pretty common type of pen. Essentially, feels just like any other fountain pen. This is threaded. And I'm going to do it this way because I really don't want to screw this up. So inside here is a weight, and then on the end of this is a needle. I'm not going to take it out because it's... The important thing about a stylograph is that the needle is absolutely perfectly straight. And let's see if I can get it. And if you bend it even slightly, you can see it sticking out of the end of the tube there. Let's see if I can... If I push it, and if it's even remotely bent, it doesn't slide up and down properly. And so when you push down on it, it comes up, and it allows ink to flow through the tip, which is the needle. And when you pick it back up, it drops down. I don't know if you probably can't see that. It moves ever so slightly, and it shuts off flow of ink. So the biggest problem with a stylograph is that the needle gets bent, and then in the process of trying to bend it back, because it is super thin, it breaks. If you've been watching this channel long enough, you've seen that happen before. Now, if it's one of any common number of stylographs, sometimes you can just replace the, just go in your parts bin and replace it. But when you get these, the one thing you want to test is you want to, like on your fingernail, when you push in on it, does it come back out? Now, you won't know that until you clean it. But this one works. It's perfectly straight. It's going to be, well, I don't know if it's going to be awesome, but it's going to work. You fill it just like any other fountain pen, lever filler. And here goes nothing. Now, the nice thing is since you don't have a nib, you don't have to line it up. No. and it's really super smooth. Now you really kind of, it's better to have it at a more upright angle. If you do it at kind of an angle like this, it'll still work, but you run the risk of accidentally, eventually over time, bending that needle. And then it's super thin. It's super thin. So I usually hold it fairly straight upright because then it really works the best there. Yeah, it seems fairly smooth. Now the thing is, you know, like if I want to smooth this, it's going to be tough because it kind of backs in place. And actually, more of an angle. Yeah, upright, this one doesn't really seem to. So I've got it at a, I don't know, was that about 10 degree angle maybe? Juco Independent. So that works nice. They're real popular for a while. Obviously, no line variation. They're typically extra fine. And that's what you get, you know. But they're an important piece of writing instrument history. You know, and if you want something early, sometimes you can find a really very early pen in a stylograph. Which reminds me, I have one that I'm thinking about. I haven't put it up on the site yet because I'm thinking about keeping it for myself. And every day that goes by, I think about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not selling that. And if you haven't seen the new salad spinner, and I love that it auto stops. You got a new old stock stylo you bought from Jonathan Velli in Ohio. What kind was it? Signet. Is that French? Is that one of the? Is that a French one, or am I thinking something different? All right, so we'll get back to the Esterbrook. I just wanted to make sure we tested that. Because it's the only one in this tray, and I would like to take this tray and make it go away. Oh, maybe Todd, Baby Swan. Yeah. Yeah, they made, what else did they make? They made another stylo that they called, what did they call it? Um, is it called? Yeah, I've got one. I just can't remember what it's called. Maybe Todd. Come on, somebody. Gary, don't you know this? Gary should know this. David would know this if he's here, but I know he's doing things. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm thinking of De La Rue. De La Rue, Ugly Duckling. No, I'm thinking of De La Rue made a small one, a really small one. David took your package to the post office. I'm glad that worked out for you. Elfin. Elfin. That's what it is. Elfin? De La Rue Elfin. Look that one up. No, not the Dickie. I think it's I think it's called the Elfin. E-L crap. Now I gotta look it up. E-L-P-H-I-N, De La Rue Elfin. Or is it E-L-F-I-N? Yeah, maybe Todd's Signet. Yeah, no. I'm so close. I don't think it's E-L-F-I-N. I'm sure it's called the Elfin. It worked out for at least one of us. At least two of you. Three, because I helped you get some pens and I helped my friend get rid of some pens. I don't know. I think it's Elfin. E-L-P-H-I-N, but I can't seem to. I've acquired more than one stylograph this year. Which is a little scary. Because I don't really care much for them. I think they're an interesting piece of early history. But kind of like dip pens, I don't really. The only time I get them is when they're convenient. All right, let's see. I need. This is really a kind of a disaster of a pen. If that would come off. You've seen me do a few on stream, different take on the technology. Yeah. This is the different means by which to put ink on the page. I mean, they're all fairly simple, all, you know. All things considered. Inkograph was the big one, of course. Esterbrook never made one. Wouldn't that have been something? An Esterbrook stylograph. All right, well, I'm getting a little green on there, so that's good. Oh, well, yeah, we're going to stop right there. I kept hearing this little noise. And there's a crack in the barrel. So let's see. You can see there's the end of the jewel, Colin, and the rivet. So it extends beyond the rivet, and usually the top of the inner cap's got an indent, so it kind of sits in place. So by just drilling a little bit of that out, it makes it easier to push through. The cap's not terribly bad, but I do need this inner cap actually for another pen, so that's good. At least I got that cooking. A pen that's already done, it just needs the cap. All right, so I just don't have to worry about that. Well, then we can use this. And let's get... There's a spacer. Sometimes, unfortunately, you buy pens and they have issues. Okay, that's good. Oh, well, I'm looking in here. Might as well take... Oh, this is a... Yeah, I don't need that. That's a J. This has got that spacer in there. Let's see. Well, that didn't work. This is why you got to check. Put that back. Why, I don't know. Bought your Melbourne Pen Show tickets yesterday when it opened. They have 3 entry times. I was able to get a ticket for the first session. No early access tickets this year. That's weird, huh? I don't understand that system. Like if I go to a pen show, I want to be there all day. I don't want to have to buy multiple tickets. Guess the Tokyo show does it that way. All right. So that's good. Those are all in place. Oh, once you're in, you can stay as long as you want. Because, you know, quite honestly, the only way I know what time it is at a pen show is if I get hungry. And then if I get hungry, that could be anywhere between noon and 3 p.m. Otherwise, I'm not really looking at my watch. Unless Lisa's texting me and 6, 7. I've been missing these wires here for a while. They sunk down to the bottom of it. Okay, one down. There was a thread on one of the fountain pen boards on Facebook the other day. I'm sure my comment went unnoticed, basically. But transitional Esterbrook's, flat barrel ended, typically use a different section. And they're very easy to identify versus a standard double jewel section. And the difference is grand. You can see this section on the left goes straight, whereas the one on the right has this little dip in here, and then it juts out again. Whenever you see this, this is an early dollar pen or transitional J section. It should theoretically not be on. You might find it on a very early 1947 double jewel. I haven't really kept track, but you'll find it on transitionals and dollar pens for sure. If you find this section on a dollar pen, it's wrong. I mean, it'll work. You really can't tell the difference otherwise, but it's not correct for the pen. This is an earlier section. But for whatever reason, this is much harder to get out than this. It's quite by a magnitude, probably twice as hard. And it should be noted that it's more difficult. And always take extra caution when you're working on transitionals or dollar pens in particular. Especially dollar pens, because the material is typically a little thinner. And it's pretty easy to warp it with heat. So yeah, this one's got the tray. So despite common thought, it doesn't even remotely go all the way down. If you want a longer sack on a J, you got to pull that tray. Pull the tray, replace the bar with a longer bar, get rid of the spacer if there is a spacer. Same thing could be said with LJs, because there is that little spacer at the end of the barrel. You don't really need it. It was a solution to a problem that Esterbrook created. So that they could use one size J-bar, one size sack on every single one of their pens. Capacity was the same regardless of model. With the exception of the pastels. You know, this one I actually pushed back further. So actually a little bit longer. So it doesn't notch like the others do. But you get a longer sack. So you decide what you want. You can see it's about that much longer. You decide what's important for you. But if we, like, for example, in this one, that spacer is about, takes up about that much room. Pushes everything forward. So if we didn't have it in there, we could probably get this back. I mean, it's minor. It's very minor. The advantage to having the spacer in is it does this. It stops at perpendicular. A nice little feature that not every pen ever had. One of those things that just made Esterbrook a little bit nicer. Nicer of a pen. All right, let's see. A couple of these had terrible nibs. I'll take those out right away. That was bad. This one was bad too. If you were bringing back those Esterbrook's to the market today, would you make any changes knowing what we know now? Well, so here's the problem, right? Look at the size of modern pens. All modern pens are huge. Huge. This is actually a decent nib. You know, and considering this is the largest pen that they made for a period of you know 8, 9, 10 years. Now I don't have anything to compare it to. I mean this is an unfair comparison, but this is a king of pen, right? King of pen 149. You know, a lot of your Chinese pens are even this size. The Penlux Masterpiece Grande. You know, and then this, you know, outside of the pastel, actually this, that's an LJ. This is SJ, this is SJ. Hang on. One of these is an SJ. Maybe these are all LJs. Well, let's just say that's an SJ. I mean, that's... And the modern Esterbrook tried to do this thing. And that's where they came out with the JR. Not the Junior, the JR. And in my opinion, it was a flop. Because everybody called it a small pen. If I were going to do it over, if it was me behind the wheel, I might make it slightly bigger. Maybe make this the SJ size and make the J just a little bit bigger, but not as big as the SD. And the actually the SD oversize is about kind of almost this size too. But people want a huge pen, and that seemed to be the thing, is that, you know, larger pens are better, which is completely false. I might make them slightly bigger. I would eliminate the whole tray thing. Your larger pen should have larger capacity. I mean, I even for a while thought about, I thought about, this is before the modern company came out. I thought about having pens manufactured. In fact, I had some drawings done up. Back of the napkin kind of thing. I have them in a notebook somewhere, actually. The problem is even these nibs are small by modern standards. Where's my 9000 series? You know, this nib is 9000 series. It was the biggest nib Esterbrook made. Sure, they look like normal pens, not like a Pilot Birdie or that tiny Oto pen. If you can use a Pentel Energel, you can use this pen. Yeah. The problem is they get overlooked because everybody wants a big pen. Just think about those new sacks that you have. This way people could use any ink. Yeah, I mean, maybe like a Plyglass sack or something. Silicone's a no-go. Latex would be a no-go. PVC, maybe. I mean, if you're doing new, yeah, I guess maybe you do PVC, because PVC is, and maybe on acrylic, because then it won't affect the material. That would probably be the best choice, or Plyglass. Or better yet, and probably a more, shall we say, attainable option would be to do what they did in Brazil. And they made an Esterbrook with a threaded barrel and an aerometric filler. But don't make it a converter. Use a Plyglass sack like a 51 and a fixed filling system. You might need a breather tube. Maybe not. I mean, they didn't use one, so I guess it depends on how you have it set up. That would be something maybe more people are familiar with. And then maybe it technically wouldn't, it would be a self-filler, it wouldn't necessarily be a cartridge converter. Although, you know, you can go either way on that. A redo of the twist filler. Oh my goodness. Don't even mention that. Because it's going to happen and it's going to get screwed up. And it's going to make me mad. Right? It's like the previous Esterbrook company actually made a V-clip. And to me, it looked like garbage. It just didn't look very good. Twist filler. Yeah, I mean, you could do a simple piston. That's basically all it is. But I think a J aerometric would be cool. I mean, I guess you could do it like, you know, the Schaefer Legacy, the 1s and the 2s, where you had that touchdown capability. You had this self-filling aspect of it, but you just pull it out and you could put a cartridge in there. Um, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But I don't want to give anybody, if anybody's listening, I don't want to give anybody ideas, right? You don't mind a smaller nib. I only have one number 6 nib and keep it to use at home. I find those big nibs really change the angle you're right at. I don't even want to try number 8 or bigger nibs. Yeah, I wouldn't do an 8. That would be just ridiculous for sure. But number 5 is kind of where this is at. I mean, even I don't have it here, but even my Franklin Christoph 19 is a super large pen by comparison, super large. I think what I've found is I think a lot of people wanted to have the ability to put vintage nibs on modern pens, but I am not sold on, and I'm not 100% certain that a lot of people actually did that. And I don't know that it worked all that well. I don't know. I guess it's just not really a thought that matters at this point. You like number 5 nibs, Lamy nibs, Pelican 2, 400, 600. Something better could have been done. But it doesn't matter. Because nobody asked me, so. Although I was pelted for a while. To provide images of vintage pens. And to provide pens. And I kind of had to put an end to that. Afternoon, James. How's the banjo today? Yeah, it's a fun thought exercise. It absolutely is. I love when people ask questions. A redo of the twist filler. That would be something, wouldn't it? Actually, a redo of the Sterling pencil would be phenomenal. How cool would that be? Is it advisable to store pens with the beginning signs of cellular rot with pens that don't? Good question. I'm not 100% certain, but I believe the correct answer to that is you probably should not. I believe it is not advisable. Separate them out. Yeah, one of these days I got to find those drawings I made. They were actually pretty fun. Still off gassing? Yeah, I believe they do. I recall having a conversation with a friend of mine who is a big um, OMOS collector, among other things. And I want to say his advice was, if that happens, number one, you got airflow. But number two, if that happens, separate them out. Don't get them anywhere near the rest of the flock. I mean, it can't hurt, right? If I'm wrong, absolutely nothing will happen to it. If I'm right, absolutely nothing will happen to it. One of the many reasons why I like hard rubber pens. It is such a stable material. Nowhere near as beautiful as some of those celluloids, but I'll just say I'm lazy. I don't want to have other considerations. Now, I've got some celluloid pens. You will find early Esterbrooks are starting to turn, which is kind of a terrifying thought. I mean, if you have enough airflow, you might be okay too. I don't really know. I'm going to polish this barrel because this is just driving me bonkers. All this dirt and nastiness on there. Is it really almost 4 o'clock already? What time did I start? 2? 2. It's just ugly. Let's make it not as ugly. Yeah, look at that. It's just all. Ugh. My hope is once these are polished up, some of that odor will go away. Whether if you had microchamber papers or charcoal bags for your storage, this will address gas issues associated with cellular pens. It could very well be. Do you mind sharing how you store your collection? I have mine in 48 pen folios, so not great airflow. The high rollers in my club use lateral flat files equals dollar signs. I've been avoiding that solution. I have a printer's chest, which is probably inefficient to the point of allowing really good airflow. But I understand that's not a solution. That it's not a good answer for 98% of the people out there. Most people probably do store everything in a 48 pen case or something like that. If you can get it in something that's like a tray, I mean, there are small options, smaller size. I think even IKEA has a kind of a storage solution. And then you get the tray liners that you put in there, cut to size and put in there. And just the fact that there's a little bit of a gap usually is enough to get some airflow in there. I mean, if you have to have multiple 48 pen folios, then you probably should look at a different storage system than that. I mean, folios are great for, the first 24 to 48 pens, and then after that, they should turn from being permanent storage to travel storage, kind of, if that makes sense. Because, like you say, you zip them up and there's zero airflow. Plus, they're always have something constricting them. I mean, it's not much, but if you put them in a tray and they just sit here like this, and you just pull it out, push it in, that's really the best solution that you can come up with. But until you get more than 48, a 48 pen case, and a lot of the time when I do, like I have pens here. When I finish these, after I test them and reassemble them, clean them out and let them dry, then I cap them and I put them in 48 pen cases until they're photographed. But what I do, you just hit 900. Yeah, you need a bigger solution. And nickel and diming it is not going to help. I hate to say that. But you can probably, if you skip the next 3 to 5 pen purchases, you can probably put that money towards a higher storage capacity solution. It depends on, how many more pens do you want to buy? Are you done? Sell 100 by storage. I mean, you could do that too. I'm not suggesting, you do you, but, and the problem is like the big printers chests are really hard to find at a really affordable price. There's one here locally, and I say locally, I mean Wisconsin. That's actually a double Hamilton's printers chest. It's awesome. It would hold about probably about 5,000 or 6,000 pens. I want it, but they've reduced the price down to something like $6,700. It's not gonna happen. The standard printers chest, you'll see them. People want $1,500 to $2,000 for them, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, and so what I do, I guess I'm going to go back to what I was saying before. After I do these, and I put them in 48 pen cases or 36 pen cases or whatever, I don't zip them up. So at least there is a little airflow there. And I know it's only I say it's temporary solution but some of them have been Some of them have been sitting there for a year. I don't have any concerns about them because when it's photography day, which is typically Tuesday. Today it happened to be today. I pull out pens. So there's always pens coming in and coming out. Parked Blue Blocks, you didn't realize this was streaming on Twitch and YouTube, and you were missing like half the conversation. Yeah. So yeah, YouTube is Twitch is on the screen right here, right there, and then YouTube's kind of on its own thing. Colin over on Twitch has got a link here for us. What do we got? Sleepless Stationers. 100 pen storage for $100. Industry standard jeweler tray. Yep. Yeah, let me see if I can. I'm going to share this link over here on YouTube. Thank you, Colin. Let's pull this up. There we go. So this is, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trays. Industry standard jewelry tray, which is kind of what I use all the time here. These are jewelry trays. And I put an insert in it. Yep, the gray trays. Now, this only does 100, so and that's what this is. This is a jewelry tray is what this is. And then I have these inserts here, and then these are the gray. So I did this for a reason, but because these actually came filled with these black things. They went all the way down. So what we did is we cut them, left this on the top because this was a good length for most pens, and then this was just a little bit different visual display because I could display a pen on the top, so it would give it a little bit different. They weren't all just all in one direction. You're using 7 of those, Colin? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you do a search like on Facebook Marketplace, you start looking at, Hamilton printers chests, or printers type chests is what they're called. Hamilton was a big one, but they were big here in Wisconsin. I don't know. They made them actually not too far from here. I don't know if they made them elsewhere, if Hamilton was local or what, but those require a lot of work. People will restore them, but you have to modify the drawers. And let me tell you, it takes a lot of work. The postage will kill you, yeah. It takes a lot of work. I spent something like 16 months to restore mine. Partly because about 2/3 of the way through, I got kind of tired and I kind of dropped the project for a while. Didn't work on it quite as hard. But, you got a lot of trays. Mine was rough. I bought mine for maybe $400, I think. But it's 24 trays. But what people want for them is crazy. $1,500, $2,000. Nobody's ever going to pay that. I don't know what these people do with them. They have them for sale forever because no one's going to pay that. Nobody. I guarantee it. If you had to price those at a point that they would move, $300 maybe. But every once in a while you find one that's a little rough shape, and you can make it work. Any kind of flat file chest, and then the metal ones are cheaper. You can find metal ones. Just start looking at things with thin drawers. I mean, when you got 900 pens, you got a problem. You got to consolidate that somehow. That's not a problem. I'm the last person to talk to about a problem, but Oh, someone's here. Hang on. Hello. Oh. All right. Sorry. Definitely not a problem. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's my opinion. You just start looking for flat file. You find that some people practically give them away. If you don't mind metal, and even look at IKEA too. I bet IKEA's got something that might work. But you know, if you have that many, there was an antique sewing cabinet auction on the weekend, in which you bought pens that needed to be modified to configure pen inserts at the end. That was not worth the trouble. Yeah. Blueprint files on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. Another one is spool chests. I used a spool chest for a long time. They're a little bit deeper drawers. They're not deep enough to do much with. Yeah. 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 Yeah, they are proud of them, aren't they? But you know, you keep after them. I mean, there are a ton out here. We tried to buy one. We almost bought one a few weeks back, and it was 6 feet tall. 6 feet. 6 feet tall. Wood. I was gonna put it literally right behind me. And they wanted $300 for it, and it was the right price. A little bit deeper drawers, but it was. Did I mention 6 feet tall? I mean, it would have held probably at least 2,000 pens. It wasn't quite. Probably 2,000, maybe 2,500 pens. You know, the metal ones, like I said, they're cheaper, stackable. You know, keep your eye out. But you really need to, in my opinion, if you've got that many, you got to look for a storage that's got like 1,500. So that you can move things around and you can organize things. So when you have that many pens, sometimes you forget what you have and you end up buying the same thing. And that's frustrating, right? You know, you put your Schaefers in one tray, you put your Parkers in another tray, you put your Watermans in another tray, you know, whatever. As long as they're deep enough to accommodate larger pens, you know, and sometimes, you know, these tray liners don't always accommodate, like they'll accommodate this, but I can't really put another one next to it. But this is, you know, this is oversized, right? Like these all day long. Be no problem. Your drawers are old metal 1960 stationary drawers. I put acoustic foam in them and then placed the pen trays on top. They belong to my brother-in-law who passed, so it's special. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was something you should look at. You know, I mean, if you had 96 pens, you go, okay, well, 248s is cool, right? All right, so we're going to test these tomorrow. I got to find some nibs here. Hopefully the rest of these nibs are good. I'm going to put this off to the side here because we're done with that. Because I need that tray for something else. You're seeing a lot of listings for just the drawers. How sad the cabinets get split up. Yeah, I mean, you see them at antique shops all the time, at least around here. Because what people did for a long time is they would take those type chest trays with all the small little squares for the type in it, and then they would put them on the wall, put a piece of plexiglass on it, and they would use it for little trinkets and stuff. You have about 1,500 writing instruments, so you have an extensive custom Excel solution. Excel as in spreadsheet. All right, let's pick the next batch of pens. Yeah, see, I learned a long time ago, and just call me paranoid and just call me lazy. Either one works for me. I used to track every pen that I bought. It didn't work out so well in the divorce, so I stopped doing that 20 years ago. To track what you have and plan future acquisitions. All right. This is my to work on pastels. Now, if I had a custom Excel solution, I would know which ones of these I don't actually already have and that I should work on, but I don't. So we're just going to fly by the seat of our pants here. And to give your ears some clue what things are worth. Valid point. Very valid point. I am just hoping I outlive my executor. I should. And then that problem solves itself. All right, what do we got? So let's take a look at this Aloha. My problem was in earlier days, I was buying a lot of pens. And like I was buying collections, large collections. And I would sell, I mean, we're talking like 150 pens. And I would sell 100 and keep 50. You know, I mean, it's a full-time job then to record 50 pens. And we're doing it with actually some regularity. And it just wasn't working out. All right, so we're going to keep this Aloha Gold. How about a pink? Should we do a pink here? Ooh, this has got a great nib. This has got one of those fairly scarce big number 9555 Greg nibs. For a while, I kept every single one of those nibs that I came across because I really liked it. Let's see what we got. Ooh, this is an early pencil. Does it work? It works. Just throw that in there. Not so early. Doesn't work. Back in there. Oh, this is fun. Educational sample, Edward W. Wallace, Oil City. Penna. Pennsylvania. It's got some shellac or something on there. Let's put that in the tray. We got an Aloha Gold. You can't really see anything on this side. Oh, here's a Temple Red. Terrible nib. It's got some stress. Couple of stress fractures on the cap. But it's otherwise nice. It'll be a nice discount for somebody. So what do I got so far? I've got red, white, pink, Aloha. Be a little patriotic. We put a little robin's egg blue in there, maybe. I'm just checking the cap lip. For cracks. You have one of those you didn't realize they were scarce? The Temple Red? These are the two hardest to find. Temple Red and Aloha Gold. Particularly in nice condition. I just sold one of these yesterday that it's going to a great home. But yeah. I can't, maybe, should I have kept it? I don't know. Let's see. I think I have a country green. Let's go to this side. Got pencils. Let's see. Kind of rough. Oh, the Greg nib. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's only they only did it on that particular nib. It's only a 9555 Greg. This is a scarce pencil here. This would be great in the Dr. G's. If you collect Esterbrook stuff, you probably don't have this one. It's a pretty rare configuration. Raised cap band or higher place cap band with the later clip. It's pretty super cool. Does it work? It does work. Let's put that in the bin. Let's Dr. G that. I got room for a couple more. I like these grays. They don't get as much love as they should. But I like them. And then there's this tan, which I do believe is a different color. And if I move this over, you can see. I mean, it has to be a different color. I mean, there's very little documentation on the actual colors. Put the pencils at the end here. We got room for 1, 2, 3 more if we want. Well, there's a nice pencil. Somebody wants a pencil to go with their robin's egg. Well, these are easy if I just pull these out. See, I got any bandless in here for you, Gabriel? No. All right, so there's four different pastel pencils. Let's throw those in there. And we'll just do a nice pastel week. So I've got pink with Oh, that's got a bad cap. Well, I don't have a yellow. I didn't pull a yellow out. Yellow's kind of a common color, but you still need a red one? This could be your lucky day. Oh, a red vanless. Well, you know what? I'm going to do this one instead. It's got stickers. This one's okay, except it has heavily oxidized. This is very strange. Oxidized section and feed. We'll get to it on another day. There we go. We got some greens, country greens in here and some blues, but I think I have some of those waiting for photography. So that's a nice, isn't that a lovely palette? Isn't that beautiful? Although if I have a green H, that's the next color I have. Two of the three. That's the next color I have. Two of the three bandless. You have the B and the A. Okay. Yeah, no, I think we've gone through. We went through my bandless pens that one day on the stream. You got anything that was that was restorable, including the desk pens. Gary, you've got 5 Esterbrook. Oh, this isn't going to work, is it? 5 Esterbrook caps for pens you got in pen lots that had no caps. Not in a hurry as your Esterbrook should not selling quickly. Yeah, that's going to be tough. Because, you know, cap's the one part that breaks or something goes wrong. You remember. You remember. All right. Yeah, we'll do some pastels. I'm just gonna see if any of these are easy to open. That's a way too big sack, by the way. Way too large. That was recently restored. The one pastel you have was a bleep to open. Yeah, they sometimes can be, and the small section doesn't do us any favors because it you can see I've got a dent in my finger already. This is the instance where section pliers come in handy. Esterbrook pastels, sub-deb vacuumatics. Got a feeling the white one's going to be the hardest one to get open. Or not. It's just hard to grab them sometimes. And you got to be careful how much heat you put on because the material melts easily. You need a blind cap for a lockdown Deb shadow wave vac. It came with the wherever blind cap. Look how huge the sack is. See the indentations? Oh, that was nice. That was nice. It came right out. Everybody's playing today. Now, was it the wherever blind cap or was it the Schrader valve cover that you could also use as a blind cap? Because that's a fun one once you figure that out. Huh. That robin's egg blue is nice, yeah. All right. Eight. Robin's egg, one of my favorite colors that we had Scribal Workshop make for us. It's really kind of the peachy pink. Well, ooh, 2284. Ah, the section is cracked. Nib might be good. I'll put a piece of tape on this one. Everyone's got a 1555 Greg. Need to head off. Got to get to gym early. You need to travel into the CBD for a meeting. Take care. All right, Gary. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good rest of your day. Let's do short tape. I'll trim that one so I know that one is for that. Oh, so I need a section for the Temple Red. Bugger. Same for the pink. Those are popular colors in the 50s. Yeah. Yeah. Ow. Stabbed myself. Let's see. Do we have any in here? No. Half of these are broken. Let's see what else we got. Ah. That'll work. Trim it down a little bit. They're getting crustier as I go here. Oof. I'm going to clean the caps tomorrow because I don't. We're going to do this and I'm going to buzz. How many sent into the contest? I don't know what the total number is yet. I have a bucket by my workstation that is overflowing with entries. It was a little light this week, I thought. I mean, we did say they had to be in by Monday, so. But I thought for sure I'd get a couple of stragglers. Not like the smell of rust in the morning. This one clearly had an ink sac problem. Half of them are really great. The other half, meh. This one, requires extra scrapage. Not the prettiest, but it'll work. Most of the nibs look pretty good, so just gonna clean these, make sure these are good. Tomorrow we'll do the caps. That. All right. Well, we're going to let that dry. This is what we got to work with tomorrow. 8 pastels. We'll finish those up with some more pastels or something else. And we'll go from there. So I am going to get cleaned up. Lisa's going to get be in here about 20 minutes. And we go home and start the evening routine. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it. Remember, if you're on Twitch and you have Amazon Prime, you can support your favorite Twitch streamer, whether that be me or somebody else, for free every month. Sure do appreciate it. Thanks to those that do. The rest of you, thank you very much. Have a good evening, a good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right? Take care, everyone. Bye now.